Hey everybody, welcome to Geico Sports Night. I'm Jonas Schwartz. Spring training is officially wrapped up, but Zach Wheeler is certainly not heading into the regular season with a bang.
And I'm Chris Williamson. The Yankees have plenty of their own pitching issues to worry about, but they did get some positive news about Dellin Betances.
And I go one-on-one with Mike Francesa on a handful of topics, including his radio show, his app, and Noah Syndergaard. But before we get there, we begin with Syndergaard's teammates in their spring training finale. Chris, take it away, buddy.
Mets last spring training game taking on the Orioles in Sarasota. Zach Wheeler on the mound getting the start, and he struggled in this one. Bottom one, Wheeler gives up the blast to Dwight Smith Jr. Smith's fourth long ball of the spring. The solo shot gives Baltimore a 1-0 lead. Still in the first, Chris Davis doing what he does best. A two-run homer to center puts the O's on top 4-0. Wheeler allowed 5 earned runs in 3 innings and struck out 2. Top of the 5th, Mets down 5-3. Jeff McNeil goes deep to left center. His 4th home run of the spring makes it 5-4. Mets go on to win 9-7 the final. Here's Wheeler on his last performance of the spring.
I went in a little too lackadaisical in it, but yeah, I mean, it's basically just getting your work in. I know it's a spring training term, but yeah, that's all you're really doing. Had a pretty good spring for the most part, besides today. But yeah, I mean, it went well. Got accomplished, or accomplished some things I wanted to do, and kept it pretty simple. And just going through the season, ready to go.
Exciting last game, last couple innings of spring training. I think we're ready to go out there and do what we need to do. I'm proud of the way the guys, battled this spring and played and run the bases, and their approach at the plate, and we're ready to go.
It's time now for Double Take. Happy to be joined by Mark Malusis, Sal Licata. Guys, as we saw, spring training is now wrapped up. Sal, what's your biggest concern about the Mets going into the year?
I still think it's the same thing it always is. The starting rotation. Now, you could talk about the lack of health or the concern about staying healthy or the underperforming Moose. We haven't seen it click yet with all three of those guys at the same time. DeGrom is what he is. He's got to stay healthy and do what he did last year or close to it. Syndergaard's got to take that next step like he did in 2015 and 2016. We're a couple years removed from that. So can he be that number 2 to DeGrom? And Wheeler has to stay healthy and perform the way that he did last year. So I still think, even with the additions in the batting order there and all the moves they made around the diamond, I think the biggest concern for me is those three at the top of the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go 1 and 1A, right? So I'm not going to differ with anything that Sal just mentioned about the starting rotation, health, obviously, consistency. You put that aside, I'm going to look at the back end of the bullpen because, they made a concerted effort here with bringing Familia back to be the setup man, which I think he showed himself to be very comfortable to do when he was out in Oakland with the Athletics and familiar with this organization. And you look at Diaz. Now, specifically focusing on Diaz, because I think there's basically an outlier here where everyone's expecting him to be exactly what he was in 2018 with the Mariners. I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but he had one of the most dominant seasons we've seen of any closer in recent MLB history. Yeah. It's very difficult to repeat that. I mean, you can't expect Jacob DeGrom to be as brilliant in 19 as he was in 18. He could be really damn good, but you can't expect him to be that brilliant. Just like you look at Diaz, you can't expect him to go from Seattle to New York, dealing with all the pressure, and he said all the right things to be as dominant. So I would look at those guys, specifically back into that bullpen, protecting leads is a little bit of a concern.
All right, as you guys, I think, are aware, Noah Syndergaard obviously is in the news quite a bit. Now, I had a chance to talk to Mike Francesa today about the direction of his legendary radio show. We'll get to that later. But he knows everyone in the Mets brain trust. And obviously with Syndergaard popping off about DeGrom's, contract extension and going to Syracuse, I had to ask Mike about this, and he had an interesting take. Take a look.
Syndergaard is a guy they're looking crooked at now. He's become the new Harvey. He's become a prima donna. I don't think there's any question. I think he annoys them. I think really that's one of the stories to watch. I think Harvey used to annoy them. I think Syndergaard annoys them now. He's got a big mouth.
Okay, and guys, Noah Syndergaard saw this as we put it up on Twitter, the SMY accounts, and he responded with this. So obviously he is paying attention as well. You could see there's a lot going on here. What is your reaction to what Mike had to say about Syndergaard?
Well, listen, I'm a big believer in athletes being free to speak their mind, right? I really am. And I understand that people are going to love or hate what they have to say, and that's really what we do on a day-in, day-out basis.
But Mike said he had become Matt Harvey
he's not Matt Harvey.
Of Mets brass.
Well, listen, I don't think he's Matt Harvey because I think Matt Harvey lost focus away from the baseball diamond in terms of and didn't really dedicate himself to be a dominant major league pitcher, and then you look at the injuries that came along with it. I mean, mean, I think he was a walking daytime soap opera when you look at Matt Harvey. I don't get that similar feel here with Noah Syndergaard. Sal, we talk about it all the time, right? Do you want the carte blanche Derek Jeter answer, or do you want a guy to go out there and speak their mind? I'm a big believer in guys going out and speaking their mind. I don't think Syndergaard's that type of distraction. Listen, he doesn't like the fact that they're taking a 3-hour bus ride, then flying to Syracuse, then flying to Washington, D.C., and was critical of that. And he basically has echoed the sentiment of every single Met fan, pay Jacob deGrom. So what exactly is the issue with Noah Syndergaard speaking his mind? As long as he goes out there and does his job, I have no issue with a guy telling it like it is, and Noah Syndergaard's basically telling it like it is.
But you guys both know, and I say this because it's true, as Mike Francesa's staffers at one point in your life, in all seriousness, you guys know how tied he is with the ball club.
Well, I do think where there's smoke, there's fire, and obviously the Mets were rumored to be looking to trade Syndergaard in the offseason. That could be an issue where maybe somebody in that front office is not too thrilled with Syndergaard's attitude. Here's the difference, though. It's not Harvey because it's repeated offense with Matt Harvey time and time again. And Harvey, you mentioned it, Moose, the off-the-field stuff was out of control to a point where it was distraction, and he wasn't any good on the field. Syndergaard is 2 years removed from being one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. He still has a lot to prove to go out there and dominate. If he was pitching at his peak performance in 15 and 16 and said something like this, nobody would care. It's not a big issue. So I think it's coupled with the fact that he hasn't been himself in a couple of seasons, and also, you know, because of the comments against ownership. I don't have a problem with what he said. I'm with you. I want guys to be themselves, but I think the comparison to Harvey is a little strong.
All right.
I would not go there.
Listen, I'm the only guy at this table that didn't produce for Mike. As a matter, I feel totally left out of this whole thing.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah. No, I think it's a bad thing for me, good thing for you guys.
Is it?
Yes. Good stuff, guys.
Thanks, guys. And a little later in the show, Jonas, Sal, and Moose are back to talk Yankees. Is the starting rotation a big problem with the regular season just a few days away? And one thing that shouldn't be a problem for the Bombers is their bats, especially if this guy, Troy Tulowitzki, heats up. Highlights from the Yankees spring training finale is coming up. Plus, how would GM Mike Maccagnan grade his performance during the NFL free agency shopping frenzy? A report from the owners' meeting is next on Geico Sports Night.
Geico Sports Night is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
So you're open all day, every day?
That's what 24/7 means, sugar.
Kind of like how you get 24/7 access to licensed agents with Geico. Yeah, you just go online, give them a call anytime.
You don't say.
Yep. Now, what will it take to get 24/7 access to that lemon meringue pie?
Pie's coming! That's what it takes, baby.
Geico. Great service from licensed agents 24/7.
Enjoy the all-new RAV4.
What if we take it to the mountains?
Ooh, what if we check out that cave?
What if somebody else made a suggestion? Yep.
Get $1,000 finance cash when you buy RAV4, or get $1,000 customer cash on Highlander. Plus, recent college grads get a $500 rebate on top of existing offers.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
I work hard and I want my money to work hard too. So I use my Freedom Unlimited card. Even when I'm spending, I'm earning 1.5% cash back on everything I buy. Earning on my favorite suit. Got it. Earning on that eclair. Don't touch it yet. Let me get the big one. Nope. This one? Nope. This one? No. Let me get them all. I'm gonna get them all. Just the basics. Can you double bag this right here? Earn 1.5% cash back on everything you buy with Freedom Unlimited. Can you also tell me what it is? Chase, make more of what's yours.
Many dealers can sell you Toyo tires, but only Town Fair Tire gives you the unbeatable combination of Toyo tires at the guaranteed lowest price, plus the most free-for-life services, like free flat repairs, free tire rotations, and free snow tire changeovers for life. If you're in the market for a new set of Toyo tires, get to Town Fair Tire, because nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Wherever you go, however you go, for energy on the go, it's gotta be 5-Hour Energy. And with 0 sugar and 4 calories, there's nothing holding you back. Works fast, works long, tastes good. 5-Hour Energy. Energy on the go.
The storylines that have the New York sports culture buzzing through the lens of social media reaction. The Thread, presented by Citi, premieres Thursday at 5 p.m. only on SNY. SNY.TV. All things New York sports. All on one site with easy access to up-to-the-minute news on all of your favorite New York area teams. Only on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports.
Yankees taking on the Nationals down at Nationals Park, their last spring game before they head back home. Reliever Stephen Tarpley named to the 25-man roster on Sunday, but started up. Anthony Rendon crushes Tarpley's pitch to left for the 2-run homer, 2-0 Nationals. Top of the third, same score. Troy Tulowitzki with the fly to deep left center off Anibal Sanchez. His solo home run, Tulo's fourth of the spring. Yankees down 2-1. Bottom third, Adam Ottavino getting some work in. He strikes out Adam Eaton, swinging at the filthy slider. Very next batter. Ottavino gets Trey Turner with the fastball caught looking. Nice 1-2-3 inning, but the Yankees still go on to lose 5-3.
Nobody moves the needle in New York like the one and only Mike Francesa. And over the weekend, he tweeted out that he was planning to maybe modify the direction of his iconic show a little bit by adding some new voices to join him. I caught up with Mike on Monday to get to the bottom of what's going on here. All right, Mike, as you know, when you tweet, it's big news. You tweeted out over the weekend that you might be adding other voices to your show. What's going on here?
Well, what I did was what happened was there were a couple of stories last week with a lot of different information about different things that were incorrect. Basically, about 20 people or more looking for me to comment. So I said, you know what, let me do it myself and just get it over with while I was watching the Kentucky game. I haven't signed the contract, which I've been very open about. I have not. I have it sitting there. I have a standing long-term offer. They've asked me to sign it many times. I haven't signed it.
Do you think you will?
I won't until I get the app stuff clarified. First things first. I have to decide whether it's just going to be the app or be the fan. We have to work this out because there are some issues where I think we are hitting a conflict. The app's gotten big enough more quickly than we thought. And I think there's a point where it does impact the radio show.
Sure.
So we have to decide how to work both of them.
So agreement with Entercom, agreement with fan, then additional voices.
Yeah, I would say if I was going to do that, I would say I'd look for the first day of the fall book.
You've had two partners in your storied history here. Ed Coleman, way back when.
Very short one.
Yes. And then obviously Christopher Russo, which is iconic. It's iconic, right?
Who?
So you're not talking, I can't imagine you talking about you're not talking about a partnership, you're talking about a cast, a sidekick, a cast around.
Not a 50-50 relationship. Yeah. But Mike and Amanda wasn't a 50-50 anyway. Just ask him. He complained all the time that it wasn't.
Are you in the power chair now? That's the question.
I was always in the power chair. But listen, I'm not trying to recreate Mike and the Mad Dog, nor do I think anybody ever will. No, it would be more of a sidekick deal, but someone who could host the show when I'm not here. And it could be voices. It doesn't have to be voice. It could be a couple of people. It could be someone who's not there every day. It could be someone who's there a couple days a week.
Do you have say over that? I mean, obviously you're going to have a big say over it. So it's you, completely. Not a FA.
Well, listen, I would never not discuss it. I mean, Mark Chernoff and Mark's a top programming guy. If he had an objection to something, I'd listen to him. But no, they're going to let me do what I want.
The response to what you tweeted was, you're doing this because of the ratings race with Michael Kay. What's your response to that?
When they name the studio after you, you know that you know that you've been here a long time. So I've been sitting in this seat since 1989. I've been doing this for 34 years in a row. I've been on top, luckily, that whole time. I have finished first in the ratings like 70 or 80 times. At this point, it's old hat. I don't even think about that stuff. It's only brought up if somebody comes up to me for a comment. So is there a way where the app would come first and I would leave the fan? I'd say it's not 50-50, but I'd say there is a percentage that could happen.
Not likely, but possible.
Possible. I'd say it is a possibility, but I wouldn't say it's a big possibility.
One of the big winners in the free agency frenzy for the NFL, on paper at least, were the Jets. On Monday at day 2 of the owners' meetings, GM Mike McCagnon spoke about just that, plus his thoughts on the upcoming draft. For more on what the GM had to say, let's send it out to Phoenix with SNY NFL insider Ralph Facciano.
Jets general manager Mike Maccagnan spoke to the media at the NFL owners' meetings on Monday for the first time since their big free agent spending spree. And for him, he was almost giddy over how well that spree worked out for the Jets. He was extremely pleased with his haul of running back Le'Veon Bell, receiver Jamison Crowder, linebacker C.J. Mosley, and more. Now, he knows the Jets still have a lot of work to do, but he said that he went into the offseason with a plan, and he seemed to accomplish almost everything he set out to do. The lone exception, of course, was he had a deal with edge rusher Anthony Barr. He backed out, leaving the Jets with a huge hole at that position. That brings him to the draft, where the Jets certainly could draft an edge rusher with the 3rd overall pick, but Maccagnan now says he is very open to the idea of trading that pick if it allows him to pick up extra picks, because the Jets only have 6 and they have no 2nd rounder. He said he's already had some discussions with other teams. Nothing is hot at the moment, but he's certainly open to the idea, and a team that was aggressive in trading up last year to get a quarterback would much rather move down this year and accumulate picks to help fill some of the holes still left in their roster. With the Jets at the NFL owners' meetings in Phoenix, Ralph Vacchiano, SNY.
Thanks, Ralph. More baseball coming up next on Geico Sports Night. We'll check in on Dalen Betances and his ailing right shoulder. The road to recovery has begun. And you know the saying, it's not how you start, but how you finish. Well, the Rangers started well. After that, stick with us, and we'll show it to you a little later in the show.
If you want a car from a company that's been building them for 115 years, get a Ford. If you want Waze and Amazon Alexa compatibility, get a Ford. If you want a car that doesn't have any of that, get anything but a Ford. Otherwise, you're gonna want a Ford.
Now get an Escape with 0% financing for 60 months plus $1,250 bonus cash, or lease for just $169 a month. Only at your local Ford stores.
When we're born, we're more alike than we are different. Then somewhere along the way, we start to believe the more distant we are from each other, the more different we are. It's only when we venture into the world that we see all we share. Maybe that's the power of flight. Delta isn't flying just to bring us together, but to show we were never that far apart.
March is here, and March means you can dance if you want to. It also means you can now legally bet on all the games. There are thousands of ways to bet with DraftKings Sportsbook. Bet on the underdog, parlay your bet, even bet live during games. With DraftKings Sportsbook, March means anything can happen. Get an instant free bet up to $500 from the #1 mobile sportsbook in Jersey. DraftKings, the game inside the game.
Update your floors with Empire Today's $50 room sale. Buy one room, get floors for all other rooms for just $50 each. So when you buy one room, it's only $50 for laminate in the kitchen, $50 for carpet in the bedroom, and $50 for hardwood in the office. There's no limit. Buy one room and it's $50 for floors in each additional room. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
There is this place. It can't be found on just any map. A place miles from the beaten path, overcoming twists and turns, ups and downs, whatever life throws. A place to always strive for all the journeys that make us stronger.
Did you ever want it? Did you want it back? Oh, my.
13th for the masterful Jacob DeGrom. It's 11 tonight for Scherzer.
SNY.TV. All things New York sports. All on one site with easy access to up-to-the-minute news on all of your favorite New York area teams. Only on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports.
Some good news for the Yankees on Monday. Dylan Betances played catch for the first time since being shut down with a shoulder injury. Afterwards, Aaron Boone said Betances felt good. He'll remain in Tampa for now and will, of course, begin the season on the injured list. Back with Sal and Moose for another round of Double Take, this time talking about the Yankees. The biggest concern about the Yanks going to the season is what, Moose?
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's the starting rotation. I mean, how many times have we been down this road, Sal and Jonas? I mean, that's the issue at hand when you look at Luis Severino not being available till early May. You look at Sabathia, even with the addition of Gio Gonzalez, who's been remarkably consistent but isn't the same pitcher they was 3-4 years ago. Paxton certainly admitted when he arrived down in Tampa, he's got to patch the 200-inning crescendo, something that he has not been able to do, and also stay healthy. We know how inconsistent Tanaka is in the course of the regular season. I mean, I think it's still the same drumbeat with the Yankees. It's rotation, rotation, rotation. That continues to be the big-time concern because the rest of it, even with the injuries, Sal, I still think the depth is there.
I'm certainly concerned about the rotation. I think that's a good one. Severino being out obviously doesn't help anybody. I am going to go, though, the injuries, and specifically up the middle, even the uninjured. Gary Sanchez, not a great spring coming off of last year. So then you look at Tulowitzki at short with no Didi Gregorius, and obviously Aaron Hicks is out, and their center field, or their outfield depth in general, is not great. So at some point, Moose, the injuries mounting up, the quantity of injuries to the quality of player. I know they're the Yankees. I know they're as deep as anybody in Major League Baseball, but I would be concerned about the significance of the injuries, in particular, as I'm talking about up the middle. When you couple that with Gary Sanchez lack of performance, there's a reason for concern.
The Sanchez one is interesting because they don't have true depth for him. I mean, they have guys who can fill him, but nobody can do what he can do in that lineup if he's not playing.
No, they don't, but, I mean, it's amazing. It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If he was absolutely raking it, like Greg Bird does each hit before he gets hurt, like well, he's the king of spring training and then doesn't do much in the regular season. It's been 3 or 4 years since he's done that. So, I mean, I'm going to look at Gary Sanchez very similar to what I look at pitchers, and I think he's in much better physical condition than he probably has been. I'm going to say, all right, well, he knows what he needs to do. He understands the importance. I think he's highly motivated. I'll start to judge Gary Sanchez based on what he does in the spring, in regular season, not necessarily in the spring.
You know, it's issue, by the way, he brought up Greg Bird. We almost got through spring training without me comparing him to Nick Johnson. Then he gets hurt, so there's Nick Johnson again. Let's talk Mike Trout. He says he signed his big contract extension with the Angels in part because he was scared to go to free agency after seeing how slowly it went for Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. What's your reaction to that, Sal? And I would think $430 million had something to do with it, too.
Yeah, nonsense. He's not scared. Mike Trout was going to get paid one way or another. When you put $430 million in front of somebody, they're taking it. I don't care if they want to go play in Philly or not. He's Mike Trout. Why would he be scared of free agency? Those two guys got big deals.
Yeah, that to me makes no sense. If he wants to be honest, he landed in the perfect spot. There's little to no expectations. It's not a rabid fan base. It's not Philly. It's not New York. It's not Chicago. He can get lost out there. They're the second most popular team in that city. He's getting paid like a king, like the best player in the world, and he deserves all the money that's coming his way, but he has little to no pressure, similar to Machado. Machado got paid. He's in San Diego. They're not expecting to win for a couple years. The guy that's got all the pressure in the world is Harper down in Philadelphia. So for Trout, he gets the best of all worlds. He gets paid like a king, gets treated like a king, but has little to no expectations. Who the hell wouldn't want that?
No, you sign me up. 400. He's scared. Mike Trout is scared of free agency.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
We should all be scared for that kind of money.
Come on.
All right, guys, good stuff. Thanks so much. Thanks,
Jonas. All right, thanks, guys. Didn't take long for the Mets to find a replacement for Devin Mesoraco, and it's a familiar face. New York's signed catcher Rene Rivera to a minor league deal. Rivera served as backup catcher to the team in 2016 and 2017 and will likely begin ball at the AAA level in Syracuse.
Turning to some sad news, New York basketball royalty Cal Ramsey passed away Monday at the age of 81 due to cardiac arrest. Ramsey, of course, not only played for NYU and the Knicks, he then went on to be the color commentator for their broadcasts, working with Bob Wolf, Dick Stockton, and Jim Carvelis, amongst others.
Cal Ramsey dead at the age of 81. He will be missed by all of New York basketball fans.
You realize your vows are a Whitesnake song?
I do. If you ride, you get it. Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
We switched.
I switched to Chevy.
I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy.
I switched from a Ram to a Chevy.
See why people are switching to Chevy.
We love our Chevy. Why do we switch? Just look at it.
Switch into a new Chevy today. Current qualified competitive lessees can lease this Equinox for around $179 a month. Or current competitive owners get 21% below MSRP when you purchase and finance with GM Financial.
When you're in a car or motorcycle crash, the insurance company is interested in just two things: getting you to settle quick and cheap. That's what they do. And no matter how cute their little gecko is or how nice their paid actor sounds, they're not your neighbor and you're not in good hands. I'm Keith Trantolo, and the last thing they want is for you to call me, because I'll make them pay you a lot more than they want to. Call Trantolo and Trantolo and let our family help your family.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Hey, Joey, what's the latest on trade talks? Hey, Joey, latest on trade talks? Hey, Joey.
Yeah, I heard you the first time. Your team's in the crapper, and so was I, all right? What, I offend you? Ah, don't put me in the pocket. Come on. My voice will not be silenced.
SNY, complete coverage of every New York team, anytime, from any device.
Get your New York sports here.
SNY.TV. All things New York sports. All on one site with easy access to up-to-the-minute news on all of your favorite New York area teams. Only on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Geico Sports Night is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Penguins at Rangers, first period, no score. Rangers with the 3-on-2, nice puck movement. Brendan Lemieux sends it past Matt Murray, 1-0 New York. Later in the first, Rangers power play. Vinny Lettieri fires a one-timer into the net. Rangers lead 2-0. Second period, now tied at 2. Matt Cullen at the side of the net, sneaks it past Alexander Georgiev for the lead. Rangers go on to lose 5-2. For the first time ever, SNY will bring a hockey festival to Connecticut. SNY President Steve Rabb was on hand for the announcement Monday. The festival will span over 3 days, highlighting amateur and college hockey in Connecticut. The festivities lead up to the first ever tournament, putting Connecticut's 4 D1 teams against each other. All games broadcast right here on SNY. Here's Rabb on what it took to make this happen.
Boy, it's been, 2.5 years in the making with ideas that flow all the time at work, and sometimes every once in a while something sticks. And the more we talked to people and the more we came up to Connecticut and talked to different people involved in the Connecticut hockey community, the more excited we got and the more we felt like this could really happen.
I'm elated. I think it's spectacular for the state. It's great for Sacred Heart University. I mean, Quinnipiac's the big boy, and Yale's the big boy, and UConn's the big boy, and we now have big boy legs, so it's going to be fun.
In less than 2 weeks, there will be history at MetLife Stadium, and this has absolutely nothing to do with the Jets or the Giants.
That's right, Jonas. Of course, we are talking about WrestleMania. The WWE announced on Monday that for the first time ever, a women's match will be the main event. Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair will headline the show.
That is a big match indeed. I don't know if it headlines as much as you and I. Maybe a little bit more.
Just a little
bit more. All right, well, that'll do it for us. This edition of Geico Sports Night for Chris Chris, I'm Jonas. Have a terrific Tuesday.